Happy Sunday, happy Sabbath. Just watch out today for the nachos and the bean dip. This is Father Mark over at Christ the Redeemer Catholic Church, and we are now in week 3 of our series entitled Choose to Live. And this week, we're going to talk about how to choose to live in relationship. And for that, we can just start with this weekend. For this weekend, we move into the first round of the playoffs of pro football. And as the Who Dat Nation down here in South Louisiana is anticipating the Saints marching all the way to the Super Bowl, we find ourselves perhaps watching a little playoff football this weekend, and just watch out for the nachos and the bean dip. When I'm watching a game, I'm all excited, and in the moment, I am tempted to grab for the nachos and the bean dip, right? It tempts me. It says to me that if I eat the nachos and the bean dip, then I'm gonna be happy, right? But I'm never happy at the end. I never feel like a better person. I never feel good about myself after I eat the nachos and the bean dip. It promised me that it was going to give me something, but it didn't give me the very thing that it promised. That's a lot about life. We call those things counterfeits. The counterfeits in life, the temptations in life, offer us in the temptation something that they cannot come through on. Because you and I were made for relationship. And in the end, the only thing that's going to ultimately satisfy the deepest longings in our heart are relationships, especially, and in ultimate fulfillment, our relationship with God. However, we are tempted by lots of things that attempt to offer us in the temptation what they can never come through on. Because ultimately, the only thing that can ultimately satisfy us is relationship. You and I were made for relationship. And so it's important for us this week to begin to peer into how is it that we can choose to live in relationship. And if we're going to do that, we first have to admit that we were made for relationship rather than for the temptations or the counterfeit things in life. Now, let's pick ahead of where we're going to go this week. On Monday, we're going to unpack how we need to choose to live in relationship with our family. Tuesday, we'll talk about choosing to live in relationship with friends. Then we're going to move into Wednesday. We will unpack what is Christian community, and we're going to land the plane on Thursday and Friday talking about our relationship with God, how we can stay there, and what helps us stay there, to live in relationship. The one thing that you can do tonight that'll get you ready for the week is just to have an honest assessment of where you are in relationship. And if you want to know the best way to diagnose where we are in relationship, I want to ask you a couple questions. Number one, when and where do you experience feelings of boredom? Number 2, when and where do you experience moments of loneliness? And number 3, when and where do you notice moments of emptiness? If we pay attention to those indicators, that can actually reveal where we're hungry, thirsty for relationship. When we're bored, when we're lonely, and when we're dissatisfied with life, it can just be an indication for us of we're actually not receiving the very thing that we need. We're not receiving authentic relationship. Come on back tomorrow as we dive further into our need to choose to live in relationship, and we're going to start with our family. Until we see you, until we continue the conversation, let's look inside our hearts and ask where we're not being satisfied, and come back tomorrow where we can talk about how the Lord can bless us in relationship with our families. Until we see you, God bless you.